Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to go through and do some troubleshooting with you. So this mod is currently set up to manifest 4 of the most common problems that people encounter when they own a SnowCap mods, specifically mech product. So I'm using an AV2 here, but the principles I show you here will apply to almost any of the mechanical mods that I offer. The first 2 have to do with misfiring. So you're pressing the button and it's either firing intermittently or it's just not firing at all. So the first thing that we can discuss is, again, this is really more of a result of maintenance or lack thereof. So first thing, if it's not firing or firing intermittently, take this and bend down this top contact just a hair. And when you do it, be careful not to exert pressure on this part because you could potentially break it off. But it doesn't need to move much, like maybe 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, depending on how bad it is. And what that does is it just pushes down on the battery more and creates a better connection. So if it's not firing or firing intermittently, first thing is just quickly go in and bend down that top contact, make sure it fixes it. Another reason why your mod might be firing intermittently or not at all is because this contact gate is dislodged. Okay, so that's here. So I'm going to show you more in a second, but there's another problem that can happen when this contact gate is dislodged, which is the button can feel super sloppy, right? Like literally it feels like it's barely gonna, it's gonna fall out or something. So I'm going to take this contact out just to show you guys how it works. Okay, so this contact here holds this bottom contact in place so that it doesn't move. Okay, now one of the things that can happen is if you drop the mod, or maybe when you first get it, if it's been banged around during shipping, it might just be sort of barely in there, right? Like maybe like this or something. And we can see that it just easily falls out. So the other thing that you can check is to make sure that this is seated properly. So we can see the 2 grooves here, 1, 2. We want to put them in there and push it down. And then also we want to just push down on the contact, make sure it's flush against the bottom, okay? And again, we want to check to make sure that it's not firing, or I'm sorry, that it is firing properly, not binding. The last thing that you can check if it is not firing is here. So we see that this is what I call the rounded contact nut. And when there is no atomizer, so we want to be evaluating this with no atomizer. When there is no atomizer, we should see this part and this part essentially be touching. So I tighten this up nicely when I build the mod, but after a year, 2 years, it can loosen up and you might have to just go and tighten it. So this one, we do need at minimum 1 tool. This is a 2 millimeter Allen key. Now I have a fancy wrench here. You don't need that. You just need, any simple Allen key, but this is a 2 millimeter. Now optionally, and this is what I use, you can also use a needle nose plier. So I'm going to tighten this up now by grabbing that nut to hold it still with my needle nose pliers. I'm going to insert my Allen key in the center in the 510 pin, and I'm going to twist this until it's tight and try to, you don't have to really torque it down, but try to snug it up. And now we can see, as I said before, right, these 2 parts are touching. Now please note, when you put an atomizer in, I'll illustrate here, when you put an atomizer in like this section does move, okay? Another thing to note is people sometimes think that this is for making some kind of an adjustment with the 510 connection. This is really only there just to help you to torque this down, okay? And the last thing that you might encounter is a sloppy or rattling button, okay? So again, this is, really just a piece of maintenance in my opinion. And 2 things will happen when, there are 2 things to troubleshoot here. 1, the button is just really sloppy, but importantly 2, sometimes if the button is sloppy, it will lock or unlock very easily. So let's just quickly show you how to fix that. So I'm going to take out this top contact 8 by sliding it up and pulling it out. Put it here. I'm going to take the bottom contact out. Now what we need to do is essentially tighten the throw, and the way that we do that is by manipulating this bend right here, okay? And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to put my thumb behind it like this, my finger here, and my other finger's here, right? So around this little zigzag, and I'm just going to bend it down a little bit. A lot goes a long way here, you know, but this is about what it should look like, okay? And please notice too here, we want this bend here. Hopefully you haven't manipulated that. Then I'm going to put this back in. Okay, check in. All right, and now no more rattle. Doesn't turn too easily. Feels good. Okay, so if you are having any trouble with your mod, these are the things to check. Most of them I would say are really maintenance that you're going to have to do maybe 1 to 2 times a year. Almost all of these are maintenance issues. So if you encounter them, please remember to watch this video. If the proposals that I have made here don't work for you, please do not hesitate to send me an email through my website. I will get back to you when I'm awake, usually within an hour. So good luck, and thank you for your support.